So there you go, live briefing from Abuja, where the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Tari Jega, briefing the press about the elections, or the ones that happened yesterday, today, and the one that will happen on April 11. That's the governorship and state assemblies election. So quite a number of issues that he focused on there. The logistic challenges, which had to do with the National Union of Road Transport Workers. He also spoke about underage voting, the matter with Rivers State. And remember, we also did talk about what would be wrong if they were to decentralize, announce the results. He also addressed that particular matter. And then the question of manual voting, quite a number which he did there. But the key thing which he focused on while we started this program, we talked about results that were being published on the social media. He did say categorically, you have to wait for the commission to do that. Only about two states, as we speak, he says, have been able to finish their collation of results, and as such, he doesn't know where people get all of those results that they say is over and done with. Well, let's bring it back here.
Very importantly, though, one thing he has also clarified is that 0.25%, that's a quarter of a percent of the card readers are the intelligence reports they're getting from their people on the field, INEC representatives on the field. Just 0.25% of the card readers have failed so far out of 150,000. Now that's good news, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think that clarifies issues about the failure of card readers, because it appears that the failure of card readers has been, bungled together with the logistical gaps, and this has projected into the failure of the whole system. But this clarification is very good as to the use of the card reader. If out of 150,000 card readers, less than 1,000 malfunction, then you even see the percentage. He said it's, statistically negligible.
But you listen to him. Does this has this been able to put back confidence into the people?
No, I don't think so. I think that we need. It's probably too early to make a statistically valid representation of what's happened in the field. For instance, we know in Lagos that Oroshoki area, which has the largest concentration of polling units, over about 53 polling units, there was not a single vote cast all through Oroshoki area in Lagos. And the reports, that you got here in channels just a few hours before we started this segment of the show, was that people couldn't vote at all because of the failure of card readers. What I suspect is that, we need to wait a bit, for us to get a fuller and more representative picture concerning the card readers. Before we went on the break, I was suggesting not only did we have problems with the card readers, we also had problems with the deployment of INEC personnel. As at the time I left my house, for instance, at 7:30 in the morning, the military officers and the police were already deployed on the roads at every junction. In fact, from VGC area up to Victoria Island, we had over 30 roadblocks, and they were checking very cautiously, every person who was on the road. But 2-3 hours after 8 o'clock, around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and in some cases, even up to 1 o'clock, INEC personnel had not, in fact, been deployed to so many areas, at least as far as Lagos is concerned. And when you follow media reports, the sense you get is that there was generally, not sufficient deployment of INEC materials as well. In some cases, they didn't have sufficient materials. And so I think that it is too early for the INEC chairman to suggest that the figures that he's getting are representative enough. In fact, I will say that it is much more. It was much more than that. The president, remember, in his experience, over 3 card readers didn't work, and then this was the pattern much of the country nationwide. So to suggest that somehow you know,
You do not agree with 0.25% as the
I
number.
think it is. I think it is too early for us to arrive at such a figure.
Yes, I have 3 points to raise on that. First and foremost, like the last speaker had just said, it might be too early because this country is so vast. There are some remote areas in this country, even within a particular state, where you cannot get information out to reach, to be accommodated in the statistics that they have just reeled out. That is one, because we have that problem of logistic and ability to get that information out. We may not be able to conclude that that 0.25% might be the valid figure. Number two, statistics is good, but it may not reflect the reality on the ground. One person alone, one card reader alone could be constitute a very serious problem. Yet it may just be 1% or 0.001%. Just like I said here about 2 days ago, 1 out of 1 million died, but the family knows the value. While the people, the Department of Statistics will be looking at, yeah, that's 0.000001% death. But the family that lost that person may have lost a man who have been useful to the entire family and the village at large. Then number three is the fact that if you look at the way the cards, the readers have been deployed, and the reports we are getting from the field, you will find that it may not be possible to gather all the facts surrounding this because some of them eventually started working. But the information would have been necessary for subsequent planning. Like I said, it is fundamental to accept that we must use technology to drive our electoral process. And in fact, every other thing in this country, to depersonalize processes and reduce corruption willy-nilly. You understand?
Do you subscribe to INEC decentralizing its announcement of the results?
INEC is under duty, under law. There are 3 processes of declaration. For example, in this particular election, the federal constituency announcement will be done at the collection center at the federal constituency. The senatorial district collection center will announce result. The returning officer at that level will announce the result. But for the presidential election, the chief electoral officer, who happens to be Jega, will be the one to announce it after all the state results.
But at the moment, the states cannot announce the results of the presidential
No
elections.
no state rec can announce result of what figure that have been collected at the state level concerning the presidential. It is unlawful.
Should that change?
I think for presidential, that is what the law is.
For
yes,
now,
yes. The question is,
okay,
would you like a scenario?
We should change
Would you
it?
like a scenario whereby, just to make people a little more comfortable, because we're seeing a lot of upheavals coming out in pockets.
If you're
just to make
asking
people
what I
comfortable-
think should be the ideal situation, I think it should be decentralized. For the single reason that technology, again, has taken over. You understand? The media, social media, and it's agog with figures flying here and there. And some of these figures can be gathered from the ward level. Polling station, polling unit, till you get to senatorial or state constituency or whatever, until you get to the state level. The REC, being the returning officer at the state level, should be able to announce that after all this, and it should have the supporting figures. So it's not a question of in this day and age, because it will help.
Yeah, if I may interject, I think we need to get things clear.
Yes.
The collation of the result is decentralized already.
Correct. Yeah.
I think we have to understand
Announcement is what?
it is the announcement.
Yes.
Which of the results?
Which is what we're focusing on.
The results for the even for the presidential. If you listen to him, it has the state level. Once you have it, you forward it, and then you come with it. And even at the collation center, it is state by state that the thing will be done. And finally, the collation, at the end of the submission, the chief returning officer, who is the INEC chairman, will now announce the presidential result. So it's already decentralized as it is. It is the announcement. And the reason why the presidential announcement is central is that the constituency of the president under the constitution is the whole of the nation. And this requirement must be met. You know that it's not just first across the line, but you have both the majority and also the spread. So you need to understand the rationale behind the drafting of these provisions.
Okay, let's
The
also
law,
look at this.
the law is known. We are not debating about what it is now.
Yeah,
You
but we're
asked about
saying-
the ideal. And I said that the ideal should be that each state rec
Should be able to
should
announce
be able
it.
to announce,
because there is a
but
perception.
for the purposes of declaring a candidate, the president, you understand what I mean?
It's
It's not the same thing.
Okay, hold on. Oh, okay, let's slow this down. Let's slow this
It's not
down.
the same
Let's
thing.
ask Mr. Tam George. For you, do you feel a sense of these results being held back until they're being announced by INEC?
No, actually, what the process that we are seeing now is a process that we're actually familiar with. Yeah. The announcements are made right from the polling unit level. What happens is once the people have been accredited and voting happens, now the people stay behind and hear the outcome of their voting right at the polling level. So what happens is that this tends to escalate from level to level until it gets to the state level, and then they send all of these things to the INEC chairman, who then totalizes all of these and then makes the announcement, especially for presidential elections. And so I think what we are seeing is a fairly predictable process.
That is the law. The question is, would you rather that this announcement is done
Change the law.
piecemeal at various, that means there will
Change
be law
it.
reform. You understand? Amending that particular
It's
section.
not change it now.
And we say that
The question is that what is the objective?
the objective is to
as-
override a situation where we have seen in the past where returning officers, even though what was collected at the various ward level and polling units was known to everybody, but
come back
because
with
it has to
different
come
results.
from his mouth, he will say a different thing from
Yeah,
what
but
everybody has
the other perspective is, with the
I think
advent
that-
of the
that
social
is
media.
Yes.
That is not taking cognizance of the electoral law and the electoral guidelines.
Okay, but
We
what-
are
what-
saying
law
that this
and
situation,
the-
forget about
this-
the law. We
no,
know
no,
the
we
law.
can't
That's
forget
what
about the law.
The law is
No,
already
no, no,
being
no,
followed
no.
Okay,
now.
okay. No, what
The
he's
law
saying,
is being
what
followed
he's saying,
now.
what
We
he's
have no
saying is that
choice.
the Rex could be
But
breaking
we
the
are saying
law.
The ideal,
No,
the
from
ideal
what
situation
has been stated, it's very clear the procedure. And I think
under the
you
law.
know,
Yeah,
under
but
the law,
you are not
and
getting
for the presidential elections.
Outside the law, would you have loved, because we have no choice following what the law has stated
Okay,
now.
okay.
Yeah, but let's look at this
Order.
perspective.
This is what we know. This is
Yeah.
what we know.
Yes.
INEC has just briefed us,
Yes.
and me and Chamberlain are going to tell you what he said. He said that compared to 2011,
Yeah.
the transportation logistics using the NURTW, that's the national body responsible for transportation, has been largely successful. That's one of the points he raised. He also said that he's thanking all the field staff of INEC that are working for this course already, including the ad hoc personnel, the NYSC students, and the NYSC rather, and then the students. He also said that they are remaining committed to ensuring that elections goes free and fair.
Yeah, but the big thing which everybody wants to see is the result. Who won? But he now says, no, that will be 48
Yeah, it's a
hours
process.
from yesterday.
Yeah.
But the reason why this argument popped up is because, I mean, people were circulating all kinds of figures on social media. And then people are wondering now, with the advent of social media, now that 48 hours, in 2011, it was a different scenario. You had to wait on the commission. Now, that 48 hours looks like forever. Because people are publishing the results from the polling units. It may be correct, but some of them are wrong. And then they then ask, yes, the process is being followed with respect to the presidential elections.
The question we
Under
have
the
to ask
current law.
ourselves, who has the responsibility to conduct elections
And
and
announce
to
the
announce
results,
elections?
Under
It's
the current
INEC.
law, it is INEC. Nobody is arguing
There
that.
must be an
The issue
election
is,
management body
if we
that is
put
vested
the law
with
as
the
it is,
authority.
And that is INEC.
And that is done everywhere in the world. That is the best practice.
Gentlemen.
You must have an identifiable institution that bears the responsibility of conducting election, collating the result,
And make
and
the
announcing the service.
The rest
Otherwise,
is part of
it will
INEC.
remain. You
If
can
it is
go
done
to
at
the
the state
social
level, it's
media
still
and
in
see
INEC.
the different kinds
let's
of
do this.
results.
Let's
that
do this.
are
Let's do
announced.
this in
Yes.
turns. Let's do